Over the last month, you've all been out embracing the air photography challenge, and in today's video I'm going to showcase many of the images that you guys have shared with me that you've been taking during the duration of this challenge. Like always, I'm going to showcase 10 images that I feel have really embraced this challenge to showcase the magnitude of incredible opportunities that are available to us and how every photographer who's embraced this challenge has photographed something different. These images are made to inspire you, so as always, this is not a competition. This is merely an exercise to help you connect with your camera, connect with the world around you, get creative, and in doing so, hopefully inspire other photographers too. And at the end, I'll do another slideshow with many of the other images that many people submitted for this challenge. So without further ado, let's get going. Image number 1 is this beautiful shot here by Andreas. And this image is of a frozen bird bath. Now, quite a few of you submitted images of frozen water, which makes so much sense, of course, because water freezes when the air temperature gets below 0. But this image out of all of the frozen images was the one that really stood out to me. The composition here is so beautiful and striking. The combination of colours and textures and patterns in the rocks surrounding the bird bath are just beautiful. And these two leaves here, the one at the top left-hand corner and the one that's coming into the frozen ice, just add something to this photograph. It's a bit like when I speak about photographing birds in your landscape shots. Without these leaves in this image, it would feel like something was missing, but they complement the photograph so beautifully. And the shapes and the patterns in the ice are absolutely exquisite. This image just stood out to me as soon as I saw it, and it really showcases how something as simple as a bird bath in your garden can make a really captivating photograph. So no matter where you are in the world, no matter what is available to you, there is always photographic opportunities. And this image, oh, absolutely stunning. The next shot here is this beautiful minimalist image by David. Now, this image to me really encompasses the theme of air. You've got this beautiful vast expanse of sky here, a lot of negative space, and you've got this lone tree with the mist around it. And converting this image to black and white has really allowed the scene to be simplified, which is really showcasing that negative space within the scene, which of course is filled with air. And then you've got this mist in the background that I just mentioned, and that really showcases the beauty of air and air temperature and the different conditions that can be available to us as photographers depending on what the air is doing. So I just found this image really simple, and I just felt it really played in with the theme, and it was also one of the only black and white shots that were submitted for this challenge, and therefore I felt I really had to include it. Minimalism is a great way of showcasing air, vast space, vast expanses, and David has done a beautiful job here. And the tree, with a black and white theme, it just really stands out amongst everything else going on in the scene. So yeah, beautiful image here, David, and thank you very much for taking part. Now, Pamela submitted quite a few images for this challenge, but this one here really stood out to me. Now, you'll see a common theme throughout a lot of this of wintry scenes, which I imagine is because a lot of us in the Northern Hemisphere are of course in the winter months just now, and you've really been out embracing that. And Pamela took, like I said, a number of images really showcasing the beauty of air. And we've got here this beautiful frosty scene with these lovely trees, and the way that she's framed this tree in the middle, which has got the most beautiful branches and bits of leaves or pine needles coming off of it, and how she's framed that with these other trees behind it in what I'm imagining was the early morning light. I could be wrong there, but the lovely diffused light that's coming through the trees there and giving the image a nice, almost ghostly feel in the background reminds me of what you often get early in the morning. And that, along with this beautiful foreground she's got here with the pieces of grass sticking up in the scene, this is just a really beautiful image showcasing what cold temperatures and freezing conditions can do to nature, and the beauty of air and the freezing of that water, what it can create for photographic opportunities, but also just for beauty in nature for us to embrace and enjoy. So yeah, this image just really stood out to me, and yeah, there's so many images Pamela took that I could have shared in this, but this one was definitely one that really, really stood out to me. Now this photograph from Peter really stood out to me because I really feel the theme of air when I look at this photograph. You've got the beautiful mist here, the early morning light, the lovely layering of trees sticking up in these like hill sort of areas going through the scene with the mist in between each line of trees. It is just beautiful. And because he's not over saturated this image, he's kept the colours very muted, it's really allowing that feeling of air to come through. You know, air is invisible, and what I like about this image is the subtlety of the colour. You can really feel that there's parts of this image that are invisible and that we're looking at only parts of the scene. And of course we are, because a lot of the image is being obscured by the mist and the early morning conditions. It really gives you that feeling of mystery and the mystery of air. Like I love it when you see like a puppy or a kitten going outside for the first time and seeing air and wind around them and they can't quite work out what it is. And this image just reminded me of that, is the fact that air is all around us. Without air we wouldn't be alive. But yeah, it's invisible, and there's so much parts of this image that gives that invisible feeling. And it's just, yeah, the way that he's edited this, or not edited it potentially, to keep it with that muted colours, it just screams air photography challenge to me. So yeah, well done Peter, this is a lovely airy image. Now there was quite a few people that submitted photographs of the moon, and there was a number of shots that I could have included in this, but I decided to pick this photograph by Randy. So here you've got the moon, you've got Jupiter as it was close to the Earth, and you've also got this aeroplane going through the scene as well. So this really, out of all the moon and astro photographs that were submitted, this one really spoke to me because you've got all these different elements. The beauty of the night sky and of space and of the air and the almost wonder of space above us. And then you've got the aeroplane coming through this scene as well, really showcasing the air theme once more. And I think it's lovely how he has framed these three subjects amongst these beautiful trees, so that he's not just captured the night sky, but he's got something else of interest within the photograph. And yeah, this image just really screamed out to me, the air photography challenge, looking up at the sky with the air all around you and all the incredible things that go on up there. It just, yeah, beautiful, beautiful image here. And yeah, thanks for taking part. Lovely. So, so nice. Then we've got this beautiful image here by Rick. And again, to me, this just screams air photography challenge. You've got, again, the embracing of the winter months and the freezing temperatures and all this snow and ice that can fall and form out of the air. But what really makes this image is the clouds at the top of these mountains and the way that they're moving around here and obscuring certain parts of the mountains and other parts are standing out. You know, the atmosphere that these clouds have created in this image is simply beautiful. And this image just really, really spoke to me. It's simple, it's clear, it's got the beautiful atmosphere surrounding it, and it's a lovely, lovely photograph. And I imagine this image would have been taken with a telephoto lens, which really showcases how you can zoom into the scene, eliminate all the distractions, and just showcase the action. And Rick has done a fantastic job here. Beautiful clouds, beautiful atmosphere, beautiful scene. A huge well done there. Now this image completely blew my mind. Now what I'm finding in these photography challenges is there's always one or two people that come up with something that nobody else has thought about. Here we've got this beautiful mushroom on the forest floor, which is releasing all of its spores into the air, and the air is then carrying these spores around the woodland, allowing other mushrooms of this species to potentially grow within the woodland. Now I have no idea how this image was captured, but it completely blew my mind, and it's one of the most unique and unusual images I think I've seen throughout all of these challenges that we've done so far. Huge, huge well done here to Saturnalia. Like, this image it just blew my mind, and hopefully it's blowing your mind too, because the uniqueness of this, you know, it really showcases how these themes that we've been doing these challenges about, how you can really think outside the box and come away with something really unique. And yeah, this image just, I've never seen a photograph of this before, and it just completely blew my mind. So yeah, thank you so much for submitting this image, because it's just amazing. We've got this photograph here by Danny, and I just had to include this image because it really feels into the air challenge. You've got this beautiful expanse of sky here with the lovely clouds. You've got pockets of mist along the shoreline here, and you've got the frozen lake here as well, which really shows air temperature, sky, and everything that we all think of when we think about air. But then you have this beautiful bird flying through almost the centre of the scene. And if you've watched my YouTube channel for a while now, you'll know that I talk a lot about including birds in your images just to add something a little bit more to your scene, to give it some character and some motion and a bit more of a story. And because this is the air photography challenge, having a bird added in here, I feel just really brings this image to life. And there's just so many elements in this photograph that screams the air photography challenge. So a huge well done here, Danny. Beautiful image with a lot of air themes running through it. Now this image here was taken to showcase a new year, and I think what's happened here is a sparkler has been used in conjunction with ICM to create this image. So I really like this because again it was something different, and the way that the motion's been done here, it's literally like fireflies or some beautiful light and trails and magical feel going through the image, and it's really showcasing the air and the movement and how almost the fire going through the air is creating something of real beauty. And I really like the centre of this image where you've got what I'm imagining is the tip of the sparkler, and you can see the little sparks coming off there, but it's showcasing almost like a hair-like structure going through the centre of the image, which is just so beautiful. So a huge well done here, Stein. I think that's how I pronounce your name. Apologies if I got that wrong. But this is again an image very different to what anybody else submitted, and it just really stood out to me, and I love it. And a happy new year. It's brilliant. Now, the last image I'm including in this top 10 is this image here by Walt. Now some people would say, as Walt did himself in his email, that his shutter speed was too slow here and he needs to take images with a faster shutter speed in the future. But this image was the first time he had ever done wildlife photography. And when I opened this image, I immediately fell in love with it, because this is something that I really have been noticing in photography now, is the more creative element of photography. So this image here is a photograph of a golden eagle. Now you can see clearly that it's slightly blurred. The shutter speed, if we look at the technicalities of photography, the shutter speed should have been faster. But when I look at this image, I can imagine this blown up in a big canvas on a wall, and you can still see exactly what it is. You can see the golden eagle, you can see the trees, and to me that blur in this image makes it into a really interesting creative photograph. Something different to the vast majority of wildlife images that we see regularly. And it really showcases that even when you're doing something for the first time, you may not get the results that you feel you want, but sometimes by making what might be deemed as mistakes or things to learn from, can actually create images that actually speak for themselves. They're a little bit different, a little bit more creative. And I had to include this image because I personally fell in love with it. Even, like I say, people may argue that the technicalities aren't quite right, because it's creative and it's different. And I hope that an image like this will kind of allow some of you to think a little bit more about breaking the rules sometimes in photography, because you can come away with much more artistic imagery. And I just love this photograph. I could totally imagine, like I said, this on a wall. So although Walt, you said your shutter speed was too slow and you need to learn a little bit more about wildlife photography, this image in itself speaks volumes, and it is beautiful in my eyes. So that's my top 10 images. Like always, these are not necessarily the best images that were submitted. They are merely the ones that I feel really embrace this challenge, photograph something a little bit different, and that will hopefully inspire you to see the incredible vast amount of opportunities that are available to us as photographers. I'm now going to end this video by showcasing a slideshow of many of the other images that were submitted into this challenge. I've yet to decide if I'm going to be continuing doing these challenges this year, but I would like to because I love the community feel and getting you all around the world getting involved in these challenges. But I might just tweak the structure slightly so that the challenges can run evenly throughout the month and images can be shown in a number of videos rather than in a single video. But please let me know in the comments below, do you enjoy this format? Do you want these challenges to continue? Or is there another format that you'd like to see me issuing these challenges and undertaking them? Because I know so many of you have enjoyed them and I really want to continue them, but I want to work out what's working for you and if there's any adjustments or differences you'd like to see in the way these challenges are carried out. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video and you've enjoyed taking part in these challenges, please feel free to send some gratitude my way by either clicking the super thanks button below the video or becoming a monthly channel member. Every single one of you that does this, all the money will be invested back into this channel and the continued growth and development of this channel and the running of these challenges as we continue forward in whatever structure that will be. And thank you once again to each and every one of you that took part.